Right, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Ruel. I am not a member. However, I've entered into their labors, peace, mercy, and blessings to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. It's just another quick one about the NTAS, National Terrorist Advisory System, or something like that. Of course, we're on TikTok because there's so many great things, so many videos you can use to push and edify. So, you got to get it any way you can. It keeps you sharp. It keeps others sharp that are watching.
Terrorism list. What?
Keeps you sharp and others sharp, and anybody that's watching, man. So before we start this, I went ahead and pulled up Psalms 94 and 20. We're going to read it down to 20, or down to the end, basically. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? And that is what they do, left, right, up, down, all over the place. And then they write them ambiguously in order for them to find a way out, or a loophole, so they don't have to follow the laws that they write. So, even in my time in the military, it reflected just the mindset of E, because even in their court systems and things of that matter, rules are for poor people or lower ranks. So you do with that what you will. But let's continue. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut themselves off in their own wickedness. Yea, Yahweh, or the Lord, our power, shall cut them off. And that is what we're looking for. That is what we're praying for, because he is the only just. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Oh, there we go. Are the only just beings, and they will need to come down here, because otherwise he's just not going to stop. He'll go further and further and reach new heights of wickedness. That's why it says, had he not sped up the days, roughly paraphrased, then there will be no flesh would be saved, right? Or he'll come with such enchantments, roughly paraphrased, that even the very elect would be deceived. And of course they won't be. It just is a measure of showing how much deception that they're coming with, and that's what they do. That's what they're good at. That is part of their blessing. So if you have another FLAGFALSE, and then things calm down, folks will be lulled back to sleep, right? Per usual. Or if there's another, something like we had with the mandates and stuff like that, but it's another med crisis, if it's one of those, and then it calms down again, people will be lulled back to sleep. But that is just your average Babylonian, dumb as doornails, and I didn't realize why Americans had such a low, or other countries had such a low view of Americans until I left the country. And it just makes sense. I get it. Especially coming into this truth, because Yahweh Bashim Yahshua will open your eyes. The more you read, the more you learn and grow. And you'll catch on to their little slick circle talk. I forget what it's called, but they will never answer your question, or some kind of mental mind circus that they try to play to not answer anything, right? So here we go. We'll get back to it.
Process is afforded a U.S. citizen, not someone who's overstayed.
So he's asking, like, what process do you have before they just throw you on this list, right? And she has this very dumbfounded look, like, why would there be such a thing as due process? You'll see.
Visa, not someone who crossed the border without permission, but an American citizen. What process is currently afforded an American citizen before they go on that list?
I'm sorry, there's not a process afforded the citizen prior to getting on the list. There is a process should someone feel they are unduly placed on the
Yes,
list.
there is. And when I say process, I'm actually using half of the term due process, which is a phrase we find in the Constitution, that you cannot deprive people of certain things without due process. So I understand Mr. Good's idea, which is wait until your right has been taken from you and then you can petition the government to get it back. I understand that that's his idea. My question is, can you name another constitutional right that we have that is chilled until you find out it's chilled and then you have to petition the government to get it back? Is that true with the First Amendment?
Sir, there are strict criteria before.
That's not my question, ma'am. That is not my question. My question is, what process is afforded a United States citizen before that person's constitutional right is infringed? And he's fine with doing it with the Second Amendment. My question is, how about the First? How about we not let them set up a website or a Google account? How about we not let them join the church until they can petition government to get off the list?
Right, and you see how all of this, if you use your little foresight, use a little foreshadowing, they can put you on a list, and next thing you know, a little farther ahead, what else is on that list can be listed on your MOT, right? On your charagma. It can be listed on your implantable device. So when you walk into an establishment, and these are just things that I think about. This is not something I'm saying is doctrine whatsoever. These are just things that I like when you start to piece things together and how you can see their plan and what they want to do, which is total control. And I see a watch list, right? So now it's your information is on this list, but remember all your information and your money and your medical records and everything will be on the implant. So you can go and try to get scanned, and they say, well, we can't because of something you said online, and now you're at risk of being a DT, right? A DT on the DT watch list. Let me see what else.
How about not get a lawyer? How about the Sixth Amendment? How about you can't get a lawyer until you petition the government to get off the list? Or my favorite, how about the Eighth Amendment? We're going to subject you to cruel and unusual punishment until you petition the government to get off the list. Is there another constitutional right that we treat the same way for American citizens that we do the Second Amendment? Can you think of one? Can you think of one?
And I doubt she even knows any of the other amendments to begin with. But anyway, let's have a look at this thing. Okay, is designed to communicate information about about threats by providing timely, detailed information to the American public. Yet, you have 250,000 children go missing. Poof, gone. But you can't find them. You have money for war, but you never have money to actually help the people. But that is who you are, at the core. Is a warmonger, a liar, a low-life dog. And of course we can get in Job. Before we read that, we can just, get Job 9:24, because why not? I went too far. Why not? You need to read that every day and remind yourself that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay? He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And he is being revealed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai daily. If you were given the eyes to see and the ears to hear. by these things, these mischiefs that they frame by law, these unrighteous decrees, the way that they handle and run a country, the way that they handle and run business, everything is upside down because I guess the Lord, the ways and the laws and the statutes that the Lord has set just ain't good enough, right? Never mind the fact that when he created things, or when the powers created in the book of Genesis, that 7,000 years, and they said it is good. Never mind that. All right, I should always be aware of heightened risk of terrorist attacks in the U.S. and what they should do. And of course, they will link the actual danger to society, which is the pale male, with everybody else. And so what you do, which is another play on the mind, is you take an actual problem, an actual danger, an actual issue, and then you pair other little things that aren't quite issues, but you just lump it in there. They do the same thing because negativity spreads. So they do the same thing with orientations, and they'll have things like, I don't care if you're, what your orientation is, if you're because you can't say anything, right? I don't care if you're a mole or a transformer or mentally impaired, and then they'll throw in, or if you're black or Mexican. Like, why? What? And I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. I can't really say a lot of things on here because then, like, as soon as it picks up, like it'll just stay buffering and processing, and it won't upload. So hopefully you get what I'm putting down. But they take something actually negative, and then they include everything else, and then everybody else who is just blindly follows. They eat it up. They run with it. All right, the page contains current and task advisories, both alert. Okay. Let's see. June 7th. Let's see what's on here, man. Summary. And don't think that they don't have anything planned to, make this bulletin relevant. I'll just say that. Several recent violent attacks. I'm in the additional information. I've never heard jets flying by my house, and now, hey, you never know. Whatever. I'm just kind of perusing through this thing. Anyway, you can read it on your own, but we can close that. All right, U.S. remains in a heightened threat environment, as noted in the previous bulletin and several recent attacks. Okay, dynamic and complex in nature, right? Okay, in the coming months, we expect the environment to become more dynamic, as several high-profile events could be exploited to justify acts of violence against a range of possible targets. Okay, these targets could include public gatherings, which, whatever, anything. All right, faith-based institutions, schools, racial and religious minorities, government facilities and personnel, U.S. critical infrastructure. All right. So here it is, right there in your face. Let's see. Threat actors have recently mobilized to violence due to factors such as personal grievance, reaction to current events. And that's a big one, because they're doing things to purposely drive a wedge. Oh, damn. Come back. Matthew 12 and 25. That's what I needed. So that all of these events are purposely being done to drive that wedge. And just like the deadly beast that received a wound, which was Rome, and the wound was healed, and then that is here, the same way he fell before, he will fall again, right? From within. All right, I'm going to go straight to the point. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided. So backstory, he performed some miracles, and they said he did it by the power of Beelzebub, or he did it by, by left-hand means, right? So, you can never please niggas. Okay, there we go. So back to 25. And said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So there you go, right? There you go. So that's a big one about folks reacting to current events, and you already know that they have these paid people that go out and do things. It's just if you can't see it, the Lord purposely blinds you. But I just wanted to put this out, so you can see. And then remember, those of us who are sincere, especially the men that are actually on the highways and byways who have been seen. We all have to be made a prey, or we all have to be numbered amongst transgressors, because Yahushua was numbered amongst the transgressors, and the servant is not greater than his master. So mentally, and I'm talking to myself when I say this, you mentally prepare yourself for what's coming. If you feeling weak in the knees right now, you better fast and you better pray. If you feeling kind of numb to certain things, or if you feel like the spirit ain't on you all the time, because it does happen, pray your way out of that. Fight. Lord wants you to fight. All right. If you still got that Christian mindset, man, you failed. You've lost already. We can get off of this. I believe that's in Psalm. Oh, Exodus. Dang. I'm way off. Goodness gracious. Exodus 15 and 3. So let's end off on that, because the Lord wants fighters. All right. Don't sit there and let plagues or let mental anguish or don't let these spirits win against you. You get hit. And I noticed, I'll tell you right now, I noticed there was one time I did 3 videos in a day, and in that very next day I was so vexed, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then I did another time where I did multiple videos in a day, and I started, the spirit told me, it was like, well, here's why. So you gotta fight. There is no, you can't just lay down. Okay, I can't even get the words out. You can't just lay down and take the beating. This thing is meant to grow you. So there'll be a test after test after test, and you're meant to be stronger. Right? The Lord is preparing you, or preparing us. Humbly, I say us. So every lesson or everything you go through is a lesson, and you take what you learn and you build on it. All right. So Exodus 15. The Song of Moses. We'll start at 2. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. And that is fitting for us as well, especially because at this time we already failed. That first one, we failed it. So he sent his only begotten son. He sent Yahushua, whom you ignorantly refer to as Jesus, to redeem us who were under those curses, who were under the law, and that we could not fulfill. So this verse 2 is hits even harder now more than it did then. At least I think. That's just my humble opinion as a lowly servant. He is my power, and I will prepare him an habitation. My father's God, and I will exalt him. Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. And what did he do? We'll move on to verse 4. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains are also drowned in the Red Sea. But the only difference this time is that Pharaoh's chariots, and his host will be cast into a lake of fire. So that is the end. That is a fitting end for such a kingdom as this. With that being said, Shalom.